Hey everybody. I don't know if you can hear me, but here I go. I'm talking about half-diminished arpeggios live on YouTube. How about that? So I want to show you my favorite 4 positions to play the arpeggios. There's root position right there, starting on A. Hey Brandon. All right, and then I'm gonna show you the first inversion, also starting from A. So this would be F sharp, half diminished. And then E flat half diminished, starting on A. So that's starting on the flat 5. So that's the second inversion. And then the third inversion, also starting on A, that would be B half diminished, so starting on A. So that's all starting from the same place. All together, A half diminished, root position. First inversion. Second inversion. And then the third inversion. One thing I like to do is I encourage my students to have chord shapes anchored to your scale and arpeggio shapes. So here are the chord shapes that I like for each one. So on the root position one, that one, you can see this shape that's embedded. That's the A half diminished. You can see it right there. And then you can also see this shape. So what's cool about anchoring chord shapes is that you can, if you know a lot of chord shapes, you can always target some really cool notes that are obviously chord tones. You don't have to play the whole chord, but just playing 1 or 2, you know, when you're soloing, you can just play stuff, solo stuff that's based on the chord shape. So it's good to think of the chord shape and the arpeggio at the same part of your brain. So you're not like a rhythm guitar player on one side of your brain and a lead guitar player on another side of your brain. You're kind of, it's all blended in together. I call it the Jim Hall method. That's how Jim Hall used to think about when he comped or when he soloed. He just had a lot of chord shapes in mind. So here's, you can practice it together at that. And then we go up to the second shape, this one right here. So that one is this shape. It starts on the minor third, so that one's a little bit different, but I like this where you stretch your first finger back. I just think it's a lot faster than okay. And then the next shape, you can see this one or this one. That's this one right here. And then the last one, you can see maybe a couple of different shapes. You can see this one, or you can see this one. Good old, oh sorry, this one. I'm in B, so. If you've got all these chords in mind, like say we pick one key, like if I do G, for example, so we've got this one or this one. Go up the neck, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then this one. Did I miss one? Yeah. Anyway. about Half Diminished, I think, is they just sound so cool. Like they don't sound like square, like maybe a dominant arpeggio, plain old dominant seventh arpeggio. Just a little basic sounding. But Half Diminished just sounds really hip, I think, right off the bat. And they sound so bluesy too. Like you can integrate them into your blues playing pretty easily, either by thinking of them as a minor blues scale with a couple of missing notes, and you've got the cool note, the flat five. You can play it real blues.
Giveaway. He's not even halfway through.
Oh yeah. Well, check it out. We're live on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, come over here.
Wait. I didn't know you were streaming.
Yeah, I'm streaming. I'm talking about Half Diminished arpeggios. So I was talking about how bluesy they sound. Sound cool? You like them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So, in terms of your jazz improvisation, I think they, can obviously integrate the bluesy type playing into that too. But using Half Diminished as part of your 2-5-1s, I think, is really cool too. So minor 2-5-1s is something that trips a lot of people up sometimes because they don't exactly know. It doesn't really fit neatly into a key like a major 2-5-1. And there's lots of different interpretations of how you can approach a minor 2-5-1. But here are two ways. One is the pure harmonic minor method, okay, where the 2 is actually a 2 from harmonic minor, and the 5 is actually the 5 from harmonic minor, and the 1 is actually a 1 from harmonic minor. And so you can think of the whole thing harmonic minor. Say G harmonic minor. And you can think harmonic minor for the whole thing. So using Half Diminished arpeggios, there's one on the 2 and there's one on the 4 in any harmonic minor key. So you can integrate some A half diminished. What did I say? Did I say harmonic minor or half diminished? A half diminished or C half diminished, which is the 4th of G harmonic minor. Let's see what those sound like. So it sounds, kind of works out. And you can play them bluesy too, Maybe I'll start with the C half diminished. And then go to... Sounds cool. And then the other thing you can do is integrate more melodic minor sounds into your minor 2-5s, and that will introduce more uses of this half diminished thing. So if you're doing a minor 2-5 in say G minor again, but you want like a melodic minor sound on that G, so G melodic minor. And on this D, you want like a fully altered sound, and that is the 7th mode of E flat melodic minor. And let's say on this A half diminished, you want the 6th mode of melodic minor. So we're actually doing 3 separate keys on that 2-5-1. So even though it resolves to a key, G minor, using melodic minor, sometimes you can mix and match different keys to give a little more spicy flavor. So on this A half diminished, on this 2 chord, we're going to be in C melodic minor. So that's the 6th mode of C melodic minor. And on the D altered, we're going to be in E flat melodic minor. And on the G minor, we're going to be in G melodic minor. So we can use A on this 2 chord. We can use A half diminished because there's a half diminished on the 6th mode of melodic minor. There's also a half diminished on the 7th mode of melodic minor. So I can be half diminished on A or B on this A half diminished chord. And on the D altered, so since I'm in E flat melodic minor, I can play a C half diminished or a D half diminished. And on the G minor, I can play an E half diminished or an F sharp half diminished. That's a lot of different half diminished arpeggios to keep track of. So if I were to do, just pick one of them, I'm going to do A half diminished on the A. I'm going to do C half diminished on the D altered, and I'm going to do E half diminished on the G minor. I wrote that down. So A half diminished, you can see that's kind of blurry. A half diminished, C half diminished, E half diminished. Let's see what that sounds like over 2-5-1 comped that sounds more like a melodic minor. This. So A half diminished, C half diminished, C, and the E. Let me try that again. You notice that there's a lot of sixths on that G minor 6. It's like a super sassy note, the minor 6th. I think the harmonic minor sound kind of fell out of favor starting the bebop period. I think that's why you don't see too many fully diminished chords in jazz standards after like the 40s. I mean, you do, but not as much. Like the fully diminished chord is really from harmonic minor. We can talk about that another time, but anyway, that sort of, it was considered an old-fashioned sound by the time the bebop guys were around. They liked the sassy 6th. Anyway, someone could probably talk about that more than I could, but so that's A half diminished, C half diminished, and E half diminished. 2-5-1 in G minor.
This is a ridiculous.
Hey, you want to show it? We're going live. We're live on YouTube. Did you know that? Oh, they wrapped him up in Saran wrap. Look at that. All right.
You did a whole entire loop.
Oh, hey, guess what, Toby? Say hi to everybody. Say hi.
Am I on YouTube?
Yeah, you're on YouTube. This is live on YouTube.
Oh,
Who's this stuff? Hey. Well, thanks for your. Do you want Chipotle? What the? Oh. Okay. Hey, I'm trying to. All right. Hey, Toby, what do you think of half diminished arpeggios? Yeah. Hey, so all right, bye guys.
Do you want anything from Chipotle?
Sure.
Okay, like what?
My son is asking me what I want for dinner. Right here. Let's see. Yeah.
I was asking you in strange.
Yeah. All right. Hey, how's this for? This is good TV, right? Anyway, hey, how's the tone? I'm experimenting with a little bit of different audio routing. important, wholesome ad break. There you go. Yeah. Hey, what do you think of my Whitesnake shirt? Any Whitesnake fans out there? I love the guitar player John Sykes. He's one of my favorites. He's got this just so cool. His vibrato is so amazing. Get this wide, like operatic vibrato. I just love so much. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going through my Naylor profile on my Kemper. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, good tone. That's good to hear. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. You like that chord? Yeah. So that's a half diminished with a natural 9. So you can think of that as either the 6th mode of melodic minor. You can even think of it as the 2nd mode of harmonic major. So if you want to delve into the harmonic major sounds, I think it's super, super cool. I used to think it was overly academic, and but when I started exploring that sound, I'm like, okay, it's really a cool sound, and it's really useful, I think. And 2nd mode of harmonic major, so harmonic major, it's got a natural 9th and a 6th. So you can play really bluesy on that one. Let's see. Play fully diminished too. Not the natural 5 though.
We're leaving right now.
Wait,
so we need to order
you going somewhere?
to Chipotle. Yes, to pick up food. Pick up food.
Do you want me to go?
We just need what you to order.
Oh, you can get me the usual.
We don't know that.
Chicken bowl.
Chicken. Okay.
With hot sauce and sour cream. How about that? So, hesitant on the Kemper. Okay. Right on. Yeah, so the Kemper, I was, so I'm not a huge fan of reading instruction manuals. I just mess around until it sounds right. And if I have to mess around with it too long, I lose interest. I don't like it. The Kemper for me, because I like lots of amps. I don't know if you can see my amps back there, but I like real amps. And when I profiled, if you make good profiles of your own amps, I think the Kemper just sounds really good right out of the box. So for me, I was sold on it. I've had it for since 2012, and I still really like it. And most of my gigs, well, when we all had gigs, but most of my most recent gigs were all in-ear, in-ear monitor gigs. So having a real amp, although it's still better to have a real amp, it became unnecessary. So I have a Kemper at my Daystar gig. I bring my Kemper to my church gig. Kemper for recording, just not like regular live stuff. Anyway, any questions on this half diminished stuff? Let me read these questions here. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. One thing I've been experimenting with is Mixolydian pentatonic, and add flat 9 and 13 is really a 90s sound. Okay, Mixolydian pentatonic. So you mean like this? And then add the flat 9. Okay, yeah, like yeah, Mixolydian flat. Mixolydian flat 9, flat 2. I like that sound too. You know, so I don't know if you guys have this book, Voicing Modes. In there, I talk about how different modes, you have different voicings that you can associate with different modal sounds. And Mixolydian flat 2, I associate with either a 13 flat 9 or a Phrygian chord, which is a sus flat 2. And then the next time I looked at that tune Naima by Coltrane, the bridge is different key, but I think of that as like a cadence, like a vamp in that one tonality. So you can, instead of thinking of two separate keys, you can just think of one key, and I think it makes more sense to the audience. You don't have to like kind of change horses in the middle, write a new solo every chord. You can kind of have a longer arc of tonality. Let's see if I can put that in a looper here. Takes me a second to delete my previous masterpiece here. I forgot to stop it. Anyway, let me try it again. Sorry, bad TV here. All right, so if we've got A Mixolydian flat 2, we're in D harmonic major. And you remember what I talked about? You can play the second mode as half diminished. So that's a way you can integrate the stuff that I mentioned this lesson was going to be, the half diminished stuff. Sorry. Is that leg? Anyway, does that make sense? Sounds really mystic. Yeah. You like that sound? Anyway, that's the bridge in Naima. So anyway, whenever you learn a new sound, if you want to keep it in mind, it's really fun to be able to use a new sound, as opposed to keeping it in this theoretical realm. You maybe revisit an old tune that you haven't played in a while, and you look for opportunities to play, new sounds that you've learned. And sometimes you might be surprised. There's some really good opportunities to try these new sounds, and it doesn't have to be like super modern tunes. Even the old tunes have some really cool exotic sounds in it that actually I think sound more appropriate if you integrate these more so-called advanced sounds. Anyway, So half-diminished arpeggios are one of those things that you can integrate easily because people have usually been taught to learn those because they exist in the major scale. You know, if they exist in the major scale, then it's considered essential learning. When you start delving into more exotic, weird stuff that's only in, you know, I don't know, like a major 7 sharp 5 or something like that, it's not considered as fundamental as major 7th, dominant 7th, minor 7th, or minor 7 flat 5. You know, those are the 4 7th chords in the major key, major scale. When you get to the other ones, like I just did, major 7 sharp 5, that only exists in harmonic minor, melodic, other stuff. It doesn't exist in major scale. You know what I'm saying. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Oh man, right on. Well, thank you, James. James has both of my books. That's awesome. More publications on the way. Man. So right before this whole shutdown thing happened is when I wrote this one, and I got that done pretty, you know. Actually, maybe it took me a few months. Yeah, I was actually pretty diligent about that one. I wrote an etude almost every day. I got up in the morning and I rolled the dice. So my routine was I had to get up at 6:30, help the kids get ready for school, and then I had like an hour and a half of downtime before I had to go to my next thing. And I would roll the dice and I would try to write the first thing that came to my mind. Sometimes it didn't work, but usually it did. So these dice are the let's see if I can show you. This is a 12-sided pitch selector. This is a 6-sided parent scale selector, and this is an 8-sided mode selector. And I would roll these, and then so if I roll it on the desk, it's kind of really loud because the mic is attached to the desk, but let me roll it anyway. All right, it says 4th mode of harmonic minor, which is really cool because we're talking about half diminished. 4th mode of harmonic minor is known as Dorian sharp 4, and you can play, let's do it in A, right? You can voice it like a minor 7, or you can voice it like a minor 7 flat 5, because it's got a sharp 4, it's enharmonically equivalent to a flat 5, and then you can also, it's got a 6th in it, so you can voice it like a fully diminished as well. You can also have the 2nd in there, have that kind of that sound, which is like a 3rd inversion of a dominant 7th chord. You know, you could do this. Yeah, like a minor 7 flat 5 with a natural 2 on top. Let me put that on the looper here. Man, I have to say, the looper is really what changed my my outlook on, like, this book, the voicing modes book. I probably would not have written that or have been inspired to write that had I not gotten a looper pedal. If any of you don't have a looper pedal, I think you should get one because it makes practicing new sounds so easy and convenient. And so not only teaching is more fun with a looper pedal, but just playing, practicing, writing is so much more fun. So anyway, I got a looper down here. So that's just various voicings in A Dorian sharp 4, and it sounds super bluesy. Check this out. Sorry, I shouldn't have got a natural 4. So yeah, that's another thing. I can play the blues scale on that one, but miss the natural 4. you can do this thing on it. See. Anyway, it's a cool sound, I think. Remarkably bluesy. Or you can just think of the parent scale, which would be E harmonic minor. I'm going to mix that up. I'll just play E harmonic minor. Figure out the other cool licks that exists in E harmonic minor. You know, if you're consciously thinking about E harmonic minor, you might think about different things. You know, and then you go to the second mode, which is locering with a natural six, which has this super cool voicing. I love this voicing. Play fully diminished or half diminished. And then the third mode, major 7 sharp 5 with a natural 4. Ionian sharp 5, and then the 4, we were just talking about that, and then the 5 is the Phrygian dominant or Spanish Phrygian. You can play as a Phrygian arpeggio. Yeah, the looper that I have right here is the Boss RC300. It's the big guy. It's kind of overkill, but it's fun. It's neat. It's got you can put the click thing in there. It only has the hi-hat sound. I wish it just had a regular click, but it just has like a bunch of different mediocre drum sounds actually. Anyway, so that was the 5th mode. 6th mode is a super interesting sound. I have some videos on this one. It's the Lydian sharp 9 sound. You can play major 7 or fully diminished. And then the 7th mode is really interesting. It's got a natural 4. Sorry, a flat 4. So you can play like a major 3rd. You can play that diminished with the flat 6 on it too. Anyway, like each one, for me, it inspires different ideas, different licks. So if I were to just have this jam over the A Dorian sharp 4 sound, if I'm just thinking of A, then I might run out of ideas. But I can go through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the parent key and have different ideas. Does that make sense? So here's the 1. So you can play like a minor major 7, or you can play that Aeolian arpeggio, which is in my book. It's a sus2 with a flat 6. The 3 major 7 sharp 5. No, sorry. G. Is that right? Might be that one. I like that. Now, you can kind of get away with doing stuff like that when it's a vamp on one thing, but you still have to use your ear to figure out what chord is being played at the time, because you want to be sensitive to the tension and resolution of the sound that's going on. So I don't know if you could notice, but in the I had that. that's like, they're kind of important. So if I'm just playing this. If I'm stuck on that one, which is the sharp 5 of that G major 7 sharp 5 arpeggio, I probably want to bend up to the 6. You know, should happen intuitively, I think, so that you're not like insensitive to the sound that's being played. Does that make sense? So there's this other arpeggio that I think is really cool. I call it the magic sixth. It's the 1, 3, 6, and 7. You can think of it as an E minor add 2 over G, but I think it sounds really neat as a. I saw Schofield do this chord a lot. I just love his comping. He says he stole everything from Jim Hall, but he sounds completely different, I think. But I can see where he gets it. So I worked out a bunch of arpeggios that had those notes in. So over that vamp. Anyway, I haven't done a lesson on the Magic Sixth other than in my book. I've been meaning to do another YouTube lesson on that one. I just love that arpeggio so much. There's the 4, we already did that. The 5, Phrygian or dominant. You can do this. So there's that sensitive to the changes. Anyway, yeah, and then the 6th mode, you can play major 7 or fully diminished. And this is where you can do some major bluesy sounds, you know. You can approach each one by a half step. And then the 6th mode. Sorry, 7th mode. You can do that. Oh, anyway, I hope that gives you some ideas. Let me look at some more questions. Oh man, yeah. So someone mentioned that they use my web-based, here I'll show you. I've got this app on my website. Unfortunately, it's not a real app that you can download. It's just something you can go to my website, noeljohnston.com. It's on the voicing modes page. Let me see if I can open it up for you. Let's see here. Voicing mode. Let me open a new page so I don't neglect your questions. All right, I'm going to share this. All right. So you see, that's the, it's under lessons, voicing modes. You go to free interactive web app. And here is, it's, what it is, it has a bunch of modes of the major scale, but all the modes of harmonic minor, melodic minor, harmonic major, and Hungarian minor, as well as a bunch of synthetic scales. And well, non-tonal scales, I guess. And what you can do with these buttons is what it does is it isolates the sounds that have those notes. So they all have a root, obviously. Like if we were to talk about that Dorian sharp 4 sound here, 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, and flat 7. So that's the only one left standing that in the sort of tonal scales. And then check this out. There's a hybrid blues scale. If you combine major and minor blues, that's one of the tonalities that's embedded in the kind of the blues, quote unquote, allowable blues notes. Anyway, so and then it shows you all the different chord voicings that exist in when you just have those intervals. So you could play a minor triad, you could play a sus2, you could play a dominant 7 shell voicing. Wait, is that right? I meant to do a minor third, sorry. There's the 4th mode of harmonic minor. There it is. Minor triad, diminished triad, sus2, and a minor 7 shell voicing. That's what I meant to say. Duh. Let me stick. And then there, yeah, since it has the sharp 5, what it's done is it's shown, since that pitch is really enharmonically the same in this equal temperament sort of system, some flat 5s show up as well, not just sharp 4s. And then there's natural 5 and 6 and 7, flat 7. So anyway, there you go. It's kind of fun. You can play around with this stuff too. Like if you have a lick that you want to see if it works or whatever, like I don't know, like if I did half diminished arpeggio, right? Think of that as a lick. 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. Look at all the places that you can use it. It's tons. So you can play it over the 7th mode of a major scale. So, which means you can use it anywhere in a major scale. I mean, you can use it, like say you're in G, you just play it on F sharp, right? Or say you're on A Dorian, which is in G, you can play it F sharp, half diminished. Does that make sense? So you just think of it as just, it exists in the matrix of a major scale. It exists twice in harmonic minor, so on the 2 and the 4. It exists twice in melodic minor, on the 6 and the 7. It exists once in harmonic major and once in Hungarian minor. It exists in half whole diminished. It actually exists 4 times in half whole diminished. And also the blues. So there's a minor blues scale, like I said, with the missing couple of notes. And then, yeah, some Messiaen modes. Anyway, does that make sense? So that's the let's see here, turn that off here. All right, let me go back to see if anyone had any other questions here. So that was a good question. James says he's wearing his looper, wearing out his looper with the modal etudes book. That's awesome. Right on. Good to hear. And then when you're Get 7 Jazz says, when applying the modes to tunes, are you trying to target strong chord tones on strong beats? I think so. I think the answer is yes. I think that's the right answer. Yeah. Now, when I say strong beats, that can change though. You know, like it's not always the downbeat. You know, sometimes you can play a different, like have a different structure of where you want a strong beat to be. Like say you're doing a polyrhythmic kind of phrase or something, or say the melody doesn't always have a strong, you know, presence on the 1 or the 3 all the time. So strong beats, you know, it can vary, and it has to do with the tune, I think. Just I don't know if that answers that question. And actually, are you talking about my dice? The former D&D player? No, I actually never played that game. And then let's see. Right on. Seth says he bought the dice. Awesome. I feel like I play that minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, the one that starts on the flat 7 with the root on the D string instead of the B string. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, so you do like that. Like that. Yeah, I kind of go back and forth actually. Like you can target that shape, that chord shape, a little easier when you do put that root on the D string. So I can see how you'd want to do that. I don't know. You know, when you have all these options for things, like you can do it like that, or like this. You know, sometimes it's good to play a bunch of ways, but sometimes it's good to just commit to your favorite way and just get good at that one. So I hear that. Let's see, what else? Yeah, looper pedal, talked about that. Series on modal reharmonizations on 80s pop tunes would be awesome. Huh. That would be interesting. Okay, James has a good question. When thinking G major 7 sharp 5, do you always think of the mode from the melodic minor scale, or do you ever think of it as triads A, G, A, and B? Triads G, A, and B. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like have well, let's see. I could think of it. Well, see, the major 7 sharp 5 isn't always just the third mode of melodic minor, in which case those 3 triads would work, right? Obviously the B works on all of them because that's part of the major 7 sharp 5, but not G. I tend to think I do like the triad pair thing, but I don't think I do think that. I don't think of the third mode of melodic minor all the time, because sometimes it's the third mode of harmonic minor, or sometimes it's like the harmonic major sound, or even the 6th mode of harmonic major. So yeah, it can be a variety of things actually. But I do like the way triads do sound over. Like if I did a just playing B triads, has a cool sound, you know. I think triads are real cool, because they're real easy to hear. That would be a really cool lick, actually. I like that. All right. So, taco. That's 4 tacos. I do like harmonic major, minor, and melodic minor, but I end up using them only as converging to the major scale. Okay. Yeah, long stream. How about that? Yeah, you guys have some good questions, so I'll keep going until I get bored or you get bored. Anyway, did I miss anyone's question? Let's see. Anyway, tell me what you think of, let's see. What do you think of that tone? Let's see if I can go back to that. There's that B triad. So So that's the G. That's our A Dorian sharp 4 sound. So remember how I said half-diminished exists on the 2 and the 4 of the harmonic minor. So E harmonic minor, I can play F sharp harmonic minor or F sharp half diminished or A half diminished. So you can just kind of shred those, you know. Crap. F sharp, A, F sharp, A, F sharp, A, F sharp. And then the bluesy thing, there's like a different bluesy way to approach each one. The A, blues, just avoid the natural 4. And then on the 2, avoid the natural 5. So you do this. Anyway, I don't know if that made any sense. Hey, more questions. Let's see. How is legato incorporated into your playing? Two notes per string. Let's see. So, I've been trying to incorporate lots of different types of techniques into my playing. Like, I was never great at the pure alternate picking all the time. I think guys that I listened to when I was up and coming, I guess, like did a lot of legato playing. So it's kind of a combination of alternate picking. I do tend to play down strokes on a downbeat and upstrokes on upbeats, with a mixture of legato playing and some sweeping. And I don't know, I have tried to do the hybrid picking. There's guys that do way better than me, though. Another thing I do I did study some classical guitar a little bit, and I still keep my nails. And I like the sound, the ability to incorporate that sound. And but I don't like to give up the use of my index finger, so I don't usually do that, actually. I like to still use that index finger, so what I'll do is I'll tuck the pick behind my middle finger, like that, in that segment, and I can use all 4 or 5 fingers, and I've got access to that pick pretty quickly and easily. I can just do that. In fact, I started doing that without realizing, and then a friend of mine says, "Hey, where does your pick go?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I think one time I was washing the dishes and I had the pick there and I didn't even realize it. So I don't know. That's what I did. Let's see. Do I compose melody or harmony first? Man, both. I don't know. I tend to pick a harmony first. I should get better at doing melody first though, but it's generally both, and then both are flexible as I go along. You guys have some good questions. Thank you. Where can I go to set up lessons? Tone is awesome. Hey, all right, yeah. Just send me a message at noel@noeljohnson.com. Send me. Yeah, cool. All right. What not tube amp is he playing through? Ha! I'm playing through my Kemper. It's actually my Nailer patch, which is like one of my favorite amps in real life. And I know I'm cheating. I'm sorry, Mr. Dave King, who owns Nailer and makes a great Nailer. He does a good job. Anyway, there's some amazing amps. That's it right there, that green thing. Can you see that? Nailer right there. I love that thing. It's so little. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Send me a comment and comment in the comments and let me know what you'd like me to talk about next time. Happy Easter, everybody. See ya.